Hello my friends and brothers, may grace and peace be with you all. We are here to continue the chat with Pastor Carlos Magno, who was the first former bishop of the Universal Church to denounce the hypocrisies of Edir Macedo in the Jornal Nacional in the 90s. We go to the second part of this interview. Pastor Carlos Magno was talking to me in the last video, the last part, when he stopped, talking about some hypocrisies, some deceptions that happened in meetings with former bishops at the time he worked there. Hello Pastor Carlos, how are you?
Hello, David, how are you, my brother? Thanks and peace.
Thanks and peace to the Lord as well. Well, Pastor, in the previous video we are doing it in stages here, which are many subjects. If we are going to talk here, we are stopping giving 45 minutes, almost an hour for each video. But you had already told a very good part of the experience when you went to the Northeast. You opened more than 200 temples if I'm not mistaken, correct me. You opened 200 temples in the Northeast. You also went with Edir Macedo himself. You were instructed to take care of the whole Northeast region, and you witnessed several hypocrisies, among them the lie of the Olik from Israel, that he was not from Israel, that the bishop came from the market who took the wheelchair, put the person sitting there at the beginning of the meeting and then spoke. I told her to get up as if she were being healed, and several things you've been through, and I started asking the first questions. You spoke a little about where you came from and what led you to become a pastor of the Universal Church. The time you stayed as pastor, you are counting more or less of this period, and I would like you. I know there are many subjects, including I had done here the following, the fourth part, that would be the fourth question before everything that you went through. At least the things that you haven't even commented on, but they were hypocrisy and etc. etc. The key question is the following, Pastor Carlos, as I'm going to get into this question because I know there's a lot you're going to tell me before, but I'm going to get into it. This question is going to be a lot of subject here. Why you, being a person that you yourself spoke about in the previous video, that you were a person who had his mind completely surrendered, saw Edir Macedo as if he were a figure of God himself, a person like that, a man of God. There was a whole reverence, a delivery. Why did you decide to leave the institution at the time? And not just leave, denounce Edir Macedo as well. I know I may be skipping a little bit, I may be skipping a bit some steps, some things that happened, but sir, please feel free if I want to come back to talk about some other situation that you've been through, but so that we can give you a little continuity on the subject. Why did you decide to leave even after having abandoned a career? If there was a career for you to be able to follow, even exposed you, as you commented she was against it at the time, but you already had a great position, a great status at the time you left. If I'm not mistaken, I think I was already in charge of Sao Paulo. Make yourself comfortable.
David, all these things that I saw at the beginning, that I have reported so far, did not make me disqualified as a man of God.
Why?
Because there are two very dangerous things there. One is to use the expression all is by faith.
Yes.
By faith, by faith, by faith. That is if by faith it was anything goes.
And truth.
For those who don't have biblical knowledge, you are by faith, by faith, by faith. Then even wrong becomes right.
And truth.
For those who don't have the knowledge. So you assimilate, and as you read in your head that that man is from God. Anything you want to dispute, it's by faith, brother. It's by faith. Or else, if it's something more serious, how was more serious things? Here comes the story of, look, if he's wrong, it's his problem with the Holy Spirit. We are doing it, but he is the one who will respond. Did you understand?
Yes.
Then it's you who makes everyone's head and gives obey the order. If he's wrong, he answers, not you.
Or that it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist at all. Not at all.
So I was already leader of the North and Northeast, and it was at the time that he decided to go and live in the United States. So we took a trip to New York. From there we went to Israel, me, Pastor Goncalves, Rodriguez, Paulo Roberto, Guimaraes, the culture, right?
Yes.
I had already gone other times, other trips we had already made. I even said at the time that a trip to Israel is history for the English to see. It's the history of the cart, because you're going to stay in a luxury hotel and there you can drink any alcoholic drink. Then when you get to the end, in Brazil you can't, it's just here. What a damned hypocrisy, right? A hack, hypocrisy as little. But really if that happened, even I was one of those who did. Because he encouraged everyone, no, it doesn't matter, we are at leisure, you just can't continue with it when you return to Brazil. So, on one of his trips to Israel, he always spoke on the radio, he ordered people to go to jail, he spoke to all the radio stations in Brazil, right? And it was a time when there were those conflicts with Front de Gaza, with Lebanon, those attacks, those wars. So, one night, when he went to do the phone show, he went to his room, we all went to our room. Then he picked up the phone, connected to the radio, went live, and he was doing the greatest drama in the world, boy. We're here now to upload a bunch of signals. Bombs exploding.
No, not good.
Not that.
Let me see if I understand here, Pastor. Let me see if I understood. He was from inside the room, saying he was going up the signal. How is this business?
You say the light wasn't going up and I could hear the bombs going off, everyone sacrificing their lives. Look how the Universal Party does it for you to put your life at risk, but we promised to go up the light to take your requests, and after a while, he started to pretend he was crying. I say, my God in heaven.
Macedo, Edir Macedo.
Exactly, the Macedo animal. When it ended up unpacking, that's what we do to awaken faith, to awaken the courage of the people, such. Then you have no biblical basis for anything. You say, yeah, that's right, that's right. Awaken faith. Awaken the faith of the people, understand? Awaken courage. But it's actually a big hack, right?
Yes.
You mess with the person's emotions. I remembered at the beginning of other trips he took, he did the same thing. How many times did I cry over the radio? I was moved by the prayers he said. We are here at risk of life, such. Then it touches the person's emotions, right? So, on this last trip, we spent 15 days and he was already in New York. So he said like this. Every day he said, look, God has already shown me that he will be my substitute in Brazil. But I will only reveal it on the last day of the trip.
It was in what year did he say that? Do you remember?
Let me see, boy, I'm not sure. I think it was 83, not 83, no, 93, 94, I'm not sure of the date.
If you want to say you knew who his successor was at the time.
It is, that he knew, that God had already revealed to him. And every night he gathered people together and talked about it. He said, no one can dispute it, it is a direction from God. Well, logically, everyone expected it to be Bishop Paulo Roberto Guimarães. Everyone was betting it was him. If I made a list of candidates, I think I would be the last in line, I would be the least quoted, for sure. Then on the last day he met, and today I'm going to say, he said, look, Pastor Carlos from Recife is going to replace me. Envy. The thing is horrible, it's a terrible environment.